We got some gaming news. Apparently, GTA 6 was delayed yet again. Huge trouble at Rockstar Games. I've been hearing some whispers of things that happening over there at Rockstar Games. Also, apparently, I've been hearing whispers of the morale not being so good amongst employees.
Hello, guys and gals. Me,
Hello.
Mudahar, and
Hello,
ladies
Mudahar.
and gentlemen, I'm going to stay quite still for this
Me,
video
Fables.
because I don't know what happened today, but I think my back has been locked. Okay, it really feels like there's a Jenga game in my upper torso, and one wrong move
Yep. Welcome to being old, man.
can make me collapse hard as hell. It actually hurts to laugh a little bit. So you know what? I'm going to get into something that is a little bit serious. So
I have a lot of back problems, so I feel his pain.
yesterday, one of my favorite games got delayed, Grand Theft Auto 6, and there's been a lot of speculation going on. But it turns out things at Rockstar may not be as clean as they seem to be, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no shit. We already knew that. The people paying attention to the games industry and like what the corporations are doing, we can already see that this is going to be a disaster.
Now, if you remember back then, a game called Red Dead Redemption 2 ended up dropping.
I think people are going to be very mad at a bunch of things that are in GTA 6 that should not be there. I think they're going to try and make it something that GTA is not.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of the most beloved games of the time. Like 7 years ago.
They completely flubbed the Red Dead Online. I don't know if it's good now, but when it came out, dude, it was abysmal.
It was a video game that literally set itself apart from every other open world title that was out there. Now, the issue with this game was there was a severe amount of crunch. There was something about like 100-hour work weeks. Now, of course, obviously,
That's a
according
lot
to
of work.
the fellows over at Rockstar, the polishing, rewrites, and
Well, you don't have to work 100 hours a week, but if you want to be known and get ahead and be an actual prominent figure in the industry, then you have to work 100 hours a week.
edits Rockstar does are immense. We're working 100-hour weeks several times in 2018. The finished game includes 300,000 animations, 500,000 lines of dialogue, and many more lines of code. And look,
Why?
nobody is actually denying any of this, right? And obviously, even when it comes to the company, they straight up say, we don't expect anybody to work that way. Across the whole company, we have senior people who just work hard purely because it's the love of the game, quite literally. Now, I want to ask you the question, okay? If your boss came up to you and said, listen, buddy, you want to work another 100 hours or something on a video game, on a piece of media, you probably would be thinking, all right, yeah, sure, but, you know, my pay's got to go a little bit higher. Okay, maybe I got to get some crazy overtime benefits. Hey, we're also releasing one of the biggest games of all time. You think we can work in maybe a little bit of a bonus, right? I think that anybody that should be asked to work for hours should be fairly compensated, okay? I've always said this pretty much to anybody. It's like anytime I hear like a teacher, for instance, make fucking all, I always think
I'm not against working those kinds of hours. I'm just against corporations working those kinds of hours.
to myself, I'm like, man, you know, for people that are raising the children of the future, maybe we should probably pay them a little bit more. But then again, whole separate video. You get the idea. You get what I'm
You end up creating a culture of people who feel like they have to work 100 hours, or they literally do have to work 100-hour work weeks. That's fucked up, man.
trying
You
to
can't
say,
have
okay?
that.
So it turns out a couple days ago, Rockstar had fired like 40-something people. 30
Probably because they didn't want to work 100-hour weeks.
to 40 people.
No, I think
And it
it's a
actually
union
turned out
thing.
that these people were out like protesting against Rockstar. So yeah, literally as we're talking, there is an actual protest going on in front
They were fired for misconduct,
of Take-Two Rockstar North offices. I mean, they got the
according to Rockstar.
whole flares on, they got everything. And you might be like, why are there crazy protests? Well, apparently Rockstar was out there saying that like all the employees that got sacked from their company were apparently just sharing confidential information in a public forum. Now, what kind of
What public forum, you say?
confidential information? You would think that maybe we were seeing like leaks of GTA 6 or other Rockstar projects. But in reality, it doesn't seem to be that way. Now, again, I don't like to sit...
Oh, it's bullshit, and they're trying to save their asses? Oh, you don't say. Dude, Rockstar is a fucking disgusting company. It used to be so good. I think the last good thing they did was, like, GTA 4, the PSP games. And then ever since then, like, GTA 5 was alright. But whenever the GTA Online became a thing, they just completely shit the bed.
down and glaze Rockstar, because at the end of the day, like, even though they made probably some of my most favorite games ever made, like, I'll be completely real with you. The reason the story is super duper important to me is,
Yeah, different company, different culture. I know he's going to talk about Vice City, San Andreas era.
when I think about GTA as a game franchise, it's not just a game franchise for me. Like, I probably wouldn't even have been making YouTube videos if it wasn't for the passion of creepypastas that was, you know, infiltrated into my body and soul by just watching those, like, 17, 18-year-old, like, Bigfoot hunting videos in San Andreas, okay? Like, that idea has always kind of stuck with me, and it's one of the reasons why I stuck around and actually made content. GTA is a very, very important thing for me, not just a video game, but probably one of the pillars of inspiration.
Dude, I actually watched a bunch of videos back in the day on what to do to find the Sasquatch in GTA San Andreas.
For
Never found him.
making content on the internet. So obviously, I want the well-being of the people that make some of my most favorite content to be, you know, living well, right? Like, I don't want these guys to be fucking treated like dog shit by a company that, you know, at the top level, I'll be completely real with you. I think Rockstar and Take-Two at the top are mostly concerned with, like, the amount of monetization they can get away with in GTA.
That's how it happens with these giant gaming corporations. They have to make more and more and more money so that they can make their game bigger and bigger and bigger, so they can make more and more money, so they can make a bigger game and spend more money on it so they could make it bigger. It's like a never-ending cycle with these people.
Or any other video game. If Rockstar at the top truly had the passion that Rockstar the body has, the developers and the artists and the writers at the core, I don't think games like Red Dead Redemption 2 would have been abandoned so shortly after its release cycle.
Yep.
So then the story thickens, the plot gets thickened.
Like Red Dead Redemption 1 was incredible, dude. I want to play that game so bad, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I need to put it on my list of games to get. But Red Dead Redemption 1 had, like, that zombie DLC and a bunch of extra stuff. It was fucking awesome. Why didn't we get a zombie DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2? It would have been so good. And it would have been such a slam dunk easy thing to do. Because they just kept the world and just, like, changed where the characters were.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the GTA
and what
forums,
they did.
and anybody that doesn't know what the GTA forums is, it's probably one of my most visited websites. Want to talk about mods, Grand Theft Auto games? This is where you sit down. It's probably one of the most longest running forum sites imaginable. But there was a post by a guy called Organize, who was actually confirmed to be real by one of the administrators, Spider Vice. Before anybody piles on them, this has been confirmed with me. So I want to kind of read this. Hey everybody, Rockstar employee of many years here. Understandably, I want to remain anonymous due to retaliation from the company. I may be willing to verify I'm an employee with Spider Vice. I am also a member of the union. I have been reading a lot of discussion on here and elsewhere about the firing of more than 34 of my colleagues last week. So 31 in the UK, 3 in Canada, and have seen a lot of disinformation and lies that are really concerning. Particularly concerning how so many folks are willing to believe the company's excuses. The excuses that these guys were leaking confidential information, which I want to remind you, before you jump to Rockstar's defenses, confidential info doesn't have to be just GTA 6 shit. It could literally be about the company's practices. So again, last week, my colleagues who were in the studio were each individually messaged by HR for a short, friendly meeting under the guise of, hey, are you free for a quick chat? Now, if you ever get that message from HR, it could either be the most, like, fucking inconsequential thing or this. It really is just one or the other. Upon attending this meeting, they were handed...
Dude, that's what we got going on here is, like, an HR culture. Dude, we got such a corporate culture. Everything that is gross about corporations has become the culture.
Envelope with a short letter stating that their employment has been terminated for gross misconduct regarding posts made in Discord.
Of course it was in Discord. Like, where else is anybody supposed to go? And that's not exactly a public forum.
Now, immediately when I put the words gross misconduct and posts made in Discord, different flares go up. But unfortunately, I've been a YouTuber too long, and I've seen the story play out differently. Anyways, the story here was that allegedly these guys were just talking about company practices in a private Discord group. Now, if that's true, one of the stupidest things you can do is quite literally do this kind of behavior on a company computer. Because you're always 100% being fucking monitored. The company computer and the laptop, even the shit you take home, belongs to the company. If you think they're not spying on you, you're out of your mind, okay? They failed to provide any evidence when asked, nor was any stated in the letter, and did not divulge any other information or reasoning, and no other reason. They refused their right to union representation in a disciplinary meeting, which is against UK employment law, and were frog marched out of the studio, with the meeting lasting less than 5 minutes. For colleagues who were not in the studio that day, they received a phone call from HR that lasted less than 2 minutes, telling them they were fired and that they'd received the same letter as above. I was aware of one employee who had a panic attack at this moment. And HR hung up on them during this panic attack, not caring at all about their well-being.
No shit.
That's...
We're a family here. We all care about each other. Oh, you have an issue? You're fired. I don't want to hear nothing about it. I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen.
Sounds like fucking HR to me.
Yeah.
It sounds like HR. These colleagues of mine were hard workers who have spent many, many years at Rockstar in critical roles. With colleagues who have been at Rockstar for more than 18 years. Man, 18 fucking years. That means they definitely worked on at least 1 or 2 GTA games.
No, right.
They are not easily replaced and will certainly affect us in making our project deadlines. Now, a lot of people have said that maybe GTA 6 was delayed because of this. And I think they came out and said that, no, it's not that. Remember, this is a game made by 2,000 employees. But again,
I saw a lot of people saying that it was delayed so they can justify everybody. A bunch of games that are too expensive will already be out by then, so they can justify charging a higher price. I don't know if that's true, but I think this game is definitely going to be a high price, and they'll probably sell it with a bunch of extra stuff, and it actually be $100, and that it'd be $100 for that bundle, even though it's just a bunch of nonsense bullshit.
again, don't disregard even just one employee.
That I guarantee you that's how it's going to be. It's going to be like a $70 game, maybe $80, and then they're going to charge you extra for a bunch of extras, and people will eat it up.
Sometimes you have an employee that's writing such a critical part of the game that is almost, irreplaceable by any other developer, right? Like, again, writing code for a video game is substantially harder than many people think. And especially for a game that looks as good and a simulation as impressive as Grand Theft Auto, I'm sure that they've definitely tapped very specific talent that they absolutely can't afford to lose. So you guys are senior artists, animators, QA testers. Very important to have these guys, because if we don't have proper QA testing, we end up with dog shit releases. Designers, programmers, producers, including leads, all super talented people. Some of the people were off sick, recovering from surgery, or on paternity leave, fired without pay, losing their careers, and putting them into hardship in the lead up to Christmas, and potentially losing their visas to work in the UK. Let me make this clear. I never saw any discussion, leaking of Rockstar projects in Union Discord. The only ever discussion was around Union efforts. So they're not even denying that they were talking about this kind of stuff. They literally said they were just talking about unionizing. Now, for anybody that says unionizing is going to be bad, just remember, okay? The reason why the union exists is so that the people at the top of the company can't just ragtag abuse the core of the company. It's a
Oh yeah, and they definitely want to keep doing that.
pretty important aspect. Now, does this mean unions are always 100% rosy gold? No, not at all. But in an industry like this...
Yeah, I think the factory that I was working at whenever I first got out of high school was shut down because people unionized. And I was just like, what the hell, man? There's not even anything going on. Like, why did people unionize? They just wanted more pay. That was it. And I was like, I almost have enough money to buy a sports car. I used to make a lot of money.
You need to have some protections for the worker. Otherwise, if you don't have any protection for the workers, if it's just laissez-faire, there tends to be abuse that gets brought up. It's just human nature, rising to the surface, as sad as it sounds. The Discord wasn't public. It was a private Discord that only contained Rockstar employees and the IWGB union officials. So there was union busting and nothing else. Everyone fired was a union member. They were also predominantly those who were on the union organizing committee of each UK studio. Just 1 week before, the union reached 200 members, taking us over the 10% threshold required to seek recognition and begin engaging in collective bargaining, allowing us to negotiate directly with management on the key issues that affect us. So things like worsening crunch, inadequate pay, and inflexible working arrangements. So again, if you're a gamer that gives a shit about your video game, this should be important to you, right? Because ultimately, the talent that is putting together...
Yeah, a lot of people will say that, oh, Fables, you're just hating. Why are you such a hater? Just enjoy things. Oh, you don't even play these games, so why do you care? I want games to be good. I'm not going to play games that are bad. I'm not going to give them money, and I'm just going to humiliate them. I'm going to make fun of them online. People who say that kind of shit are just brain dead fucking retarded and just want to keep eating dicks. Like, get out of here with that shit, man.
The software that we love to enjoy playing, especially for something as beloved as Grand Theft Auto, should be respected, right?
Yeah, I want these companies to do better, to make better games. I just want good games, man. I want great games, actually.
Like, should these guys make more money for the effort that they put in? Absolutely. I think I was reading somewhere like video game developers usually are people that put in so much effort into development work, but out of every computer programming related field, they probably make arguably the shittiest in terms of the talent put in. So they
when it comes to the corporate games, the indies and the AA studios, they're doing just fine.
Hired over 34 of us now. There were 250 of us in the union group. This is in fear that they will get away with this. There's nothing stopping them from doing this again and again. Those of us who are lucky and remain for now work in fear. Fearful when talking to each other at the tea prep, fearful that we're next in line and easily got rid of. Too scared to go out the studio or talk to. Our colleagues outside protesting in fear of reprisals. Morale in the studio is at rock bottom, which is so wild,
yeah, see?
these guys
That's what I was talking about earlier, man. That's what I was hearing whispers of.
We're on the cusp of releasing the most anticipated video game, let alone media piece in forever, which is truly heartbreaking. As for us in the union, all of our ambition was to make Rockstar a happier, fairer, safer, and more equitable place for all. That's it. What has happened clearly shows that we care more about the well-being of our colleagues at Rockstar than the company does. And I'm imagining the company here means the upper brass of Rockstar, and even like just Take-Two in general, right? Like their actual publisher. The union remains unbowed and is fighting to win the reinstatement of every member that has been dismissed. The fight is critical. If Rockstar can get away with this, they'll keep treating our workers with disdain, disrespect, and subjecting them to continued illegal treatment. Now, of course, obviously, this is a fucking huge situation, right? And look, the thing about it is, I don't doubt that this might even have had an issue with that delay to begin with, right? I think that there's something seriously wrong at Rockstar when it comes to GTA 6. You know, either the game is just so big that they need this much polish time.
And also, like, did anybody see the marketing that was going around for this game? And, like, what the big game journos were talking about? What a lot of prominent gaming figures were talking about who were, like, more on the leftoid corporate side? It was just really weird culture war-y, and they need to get all that shit out of there, or this is going to be a huge, huge problem.
Or maybe there is just legit trouble in paradise, which reading this is what it sounds like. So I don't necessarily believe anybody that says this doesn't have like any play into it.
And just imagine how much things have changed in the industry while they've been working on this game. Like, they've probably had to shift their focus on trends because everybody tries to be so trendy, especially at the corporations. We got to be trendy. Like, you noticed all the memes that were up from the time that they were making the marketing. All of that shit is still in there, man. That's part of the game. That was their main marketing points. And I'm just like, why are you buying into memes? Memes are trendy. Trends change over time, and if this game, like, it's taken over a decade, then what are you doing?
Obviously, a shakeup like this at a company is going to cause some schisms that ripple throughout the entire process. And look, I think if it's one thing that you guys can understand is that it's not Rockstar at the top that has ever led it to where it's Rockstar as a whole. You know, if we were just going to go with the idea that the top guys are the most important people, like everyone always says, like, I think it's like Sam leaves the company, therefore the writing is shit. Dog, when people leave the company at the top and they go off and make their own projects like Mind's Eye, sometimes that project can be dog shit, as we've seen. Sometimes it can be great. But the thing is, ultimately, these are games, and it's not just Rockstar. It could be any video. It could be EA. It could be any company that we're passionate about.
Yeah, these aren't your dad's companies. All of these companies used to make bangers after bangers multiple times a year, a lot of times. EA, Ubisoft, Activision, fucking Blizzard, like Rockstar, back in the 2000s. Like, where did it all go wrong, dude? Where did it all go wrong? They were releasing so many games. Like, sometimes 5, 10, 20 a year. And a lot of those would be bangers. 5 or 10 of them would be. And it would pay for all of the little games that they decide to release, all the passion projects. And sometimes those exploded. Now you get like one game every 5-10 years or more.
You know, out of all the AAA developers, I think understandably most of you guys watching will probably say like Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar is one of the last few AAA publishers that has kind of earned and kept their pedigree, right? Like, granted, they made really shitty decisions, right? I'm not going to sit here, as much as I love GTA, sit down and glaze the fact that they have a dog shit subscription service for Grand Theft Auto. I'm not going to sit here and glaze the fact that, you know, just because GTA games look amazing, Red Dead games look amazing, the output at Rockstar hasn't ceased simply because they found that they can make substantially more money if they just drip feed us dog shit content in GTA Online. I played GTA Online, never spent any money in the shark cards, but it turns out there's an entire economy of whales who just love buying dog shit. Look, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen,
dude, it persists in a lot of these giant games, especially the gacha games. Like, dude, stop buying microtransactions. I wish companies would just not sell them, but it's just too enticing to make as much money as possible from these corporations. And honestly, I wish that games were just all free. All of the games that I used to play were free. I used to be on Newgrounds and like Ancon and a lot of websites like that. I can't remember the monkey one. There was a monkey. And like miniclip.com. All the games that I was playing was free.
I mean, there are some issues going on at Rockstar. And look, at the end, this video wouldn't be important to me if it wasn't the fact that I have such good memories with Grand Theft Auto. Even discounting just playing the core games, on my channel alone, playing mods like Mr. X, playing around with even Lost mods, like the Terminator mod, for instance, it just shows you that there's a whole community of people involved in these games that keep it alive for so long. GTA in the modding community, at least pre-GTA 5, was as impressive as current-day Bethesda titles, right? Like, it's just that much of a modding platform. It's just that much of a game where 10 years down the road, people are still making video essays, people are still talking about it, people are still revitalizing these games with mods and features. Because it really is, these really are just like landmark defining games. They really have been. You know,
like, I'm literally going to be playing Fallout New Vegas soon on stream. When I get done with all the Resident Evil stuff, I'm going to be going through the newer Resident Evil games first, which I'm going to be doing in this stream here, if you're watching on the stream. If you're not, then check out my Folly Game Space channel. I think that's all you got to type in is Fable's Folly Game Space.
Say what you will about games like GTA 5, right? Some people love the game, some people hate it, but you can't deny on the fact that it does keep a standard benchmark at the time, and it still kind of holds its own against video games that are released today. So, you know, for the people that are making these kind of games, right, like, I think the utmost requirement of basic respect to them is what we really need, right? Like, because without these guys, we wouldn't really have the kind of games that we kind of hype for or get excited about. You know, if we allow companies like Rockstar to jump down in the state that they are, then they eventually become even more relative to companies like EA, companies like Activision, companies like Ubisoft, which have done worse at the moment than Rockstar. But Rockstar is not on a different trajectory. If they keep going down that road, you know, who knows? Maybe they might choose to actually one day become the next Ubisoft 10 years from now. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, bad things are happening in Rockstar, and I really do hope that the employees at Lost...
And dude, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's like every time with all of these stories about bad shit happening, it always shows the rot, and it always gets worse because nobody ever does anything about it, and everybody doubles down, says that all of the criticism, you're just haters, and then they just completely ignore it and let everything get worse.